Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's day 2,003,000 billion of this self-isolation thanks to the COVID-19. And I gotta tell you, I'm like fuming because I spend a lot of time, I consume a lot of progressive media, right? I listen to Crystal Ball and Sagar of The Hill. I listen to Jimmy Dore. I listen to the Michael Brooks show. Every so often I get on, I think Michael Seeger is his name, Kyle Kalinske, right? I pay attention to these guys. I listen to these guys and ladies. The Useful Idiots podcast. Shout out to those guys for sure. Like all those guys, right? That's your progressive media that's happening in America right now. And if you're not listening to those guys, then you don't know what's going on the progressive left, period. And I'm really, really mad with them right now, with all of them, except Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore, you're telling the truth. You keep telling the truth. You're doing God's work, and you keep doing that. You're the moral core of the progressive left right now. You stand alongside with Chris Hedges, no lie. And the rest of them, though, I'm like deeply, oh, you know what, Kyle? Kyle did exactly the right thing, right? And the rest of you need to listen, and you need to pay attention, and you need to look at what Kyle did. Because Kyle did exactly the right thing. He said, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a rapist, right? He's not better than Trump. And this is the thing that I think is not being talked about, and this is the thing that is not being accepted by the rest of the progressive movement, is there is no Democratic Party. There is no Republican Party, right? There's a business party. There is a capitalist party. It is organized against labor. That's what it serves. That's the point. That's how it's organized, right? We saw it outright. We witnessed it. There's everything you're seeing right now. This whole Joe Biden, Donald Trump thing is theater. And I'm watching people like good reporters and good commentators like Crystal Ball, like Michael Brooks, just kind of fall back into this pattern of, oh, okay, well, now there's a Democratic Party and we need to weigh them against the Republican. No, you don't. You don't need to do any of that. And there's this general confusion about, well, what do we do now that Bernie Sanders was sort of disappointed us? And as Jimmy Dore puts it, right, there was an unmasking. It was revealed that his role in the whole thing was just to funnel progressives out of the streets and into worthless avenues, right? To defang. What they don't want to deal with is another Occupy. That's what they don't want to deal with. And that's exactly the only thing left. The only thing left for people to do is to take to the streets, to go to the halls of power personally with thousands of people and demand the change that we all need to see, that we know we need to see. It's not going to happen through the oligarch method of delusional control. Like what I'm watching coming out of The Hill and what I'm watching coming out of even Useful Idiots and Michael Brooks, 100% Michael Brooks, you're dropping the ball, son. What you're seeing these guys do is just commentate on the Democratic Republican race like they're watching a WWE contest, except they think the wrestling's real. That's what we're watching. We're watching these people and they're like, well, maybe Biden can do this and Trump can do that. And that's all nonsense. That's all nonsense that you need to just delete from your brain. That just needs to go gone, and it just gets deleted. They go to the same parties. They work for the same people. They are not interested in helping you at all. They do not care about you at all. You're not going to convince them to do anything. What happened in the Democratic Party is that they killed the Bernie Sanders movement and attempted to funnel what small little tiny scraps they could into the party, and they don't care if they lose. They don't care if they lose, right? I don't know how difficult this is to grasp. If you're a multi-billionaire or a multi-millionaire, right, and there's a guy coming up that's like, I'm going to raise taxes on millionaires and billionaires. You're just going to kill that guy. And if you have to sacrifice, oh, I guess I'm not going to be president again, right? That's the worst thing that's ever going to happen to Joe Biden. Oh, I guess I don't get to be president. Oh, well, you're telling me that nobody walked into a room with Joe Biden and said, hey, Joe Biden, this is what we need you to do, okay? We need you to throw this election. Well, I want to be the president of the United States. But you get to keep being a millionaire and a billionaire and go to all the parties and get on the Jeffrey Epstein flights and go have sex with little girls and go rape people and go do all that stuff. You get to do all that stuff. You just don't get to be president. I guess so. We'll still try though, right? Yeah, sure, because the progressive media is absolutely going to commentate on this like this is a legitimate race instead of a complete farce in order to suppress people and keep them off the streets, which is exactly what you're doing. You're wasting your time, you're wasting my time, right? I'm especially incensed at the Hill, and I'm especially incensed at Michael Brooks. Michael Brooks, man, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. This is a conflict against capital and the working class. That's what this is. And you should absolutely be working to get people onto the street. That is all you should be doing. I don't understand why you're wasting your time. I've listened to 5, 6, 7 hours of you now whinging and whining and sitting there just being like, we gotta look at this and kind of take a kind of thing, and I get it. You got punched in the gut. I get it. You thought that Bernie Sanders might be a legitimate thing. You thought that he might actually stand up for principles. You thought he might actually move the party in a direction and actually get something done. You thought you'd see it. Well, guess what? You didn't. You know why you didn't? Because the party exists to serve capital. That's all it does. It doesn't exist to serve the workers. It exists to trick you into thinking that it serves the workers, like Bill Clinton did, like Obama did, right? It exists to talk like this and tell you, we really do care about what's going on in the world, and we're really interested in help. And then they're just gonna stab you in the back the second they can, because they don't care about you. It's just theater. It's just theater, right? It's like you're watching a TV show and then you turn it off and you pretend like the TV show you watched is reality. It isn't. It's just what they want you to see. That's all. The Jeffrey Epstein manifest is real. Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were on those planes. We were ruled by pedophiles. I don't hear any of you talking about that. I don't hear any of you talking about how we need to abandon this bullshit, delusional, obviously fake process and take to these streets. And I think it's just because you're chicken. I think that's all it is. You people up at the Hill, right? You're comfortable, right? You're wearing nice clothes, you're wearing nice suits. You can go along with this facade. You can pretend as though there's actually an election happening. It's a complete farce. Obviously, to anyone who has a mind to think of it, it's totally fake. If it isn't the CIA with their shadow app, which nobody talks about anymore, oh yeah, I guess they just stopped using that. No. Are you kidding me? And if it's not the shadow app, let's just have an election in the middle of the coronavirus. Like, it's a total farce. It's theater. It's theater that people get to participate in so that they feel as though the result is partially on them. That they get to say, oh, well, I have some level of ownership in what happened, and they don't. And you are reporting as if they do. And what's so frustrating for me listening to you people talking about this kind of thing is that you're just participating. You're just making it worse for everybody else by pretending that there is a solution that exists outside the actual solution, which is to get on the street, shut this thing down. That's the only thing that's going to move anything, anywhere. And if you think otherwise, then you're just a stooge. You're just a stooge. And you're just pretending, and you're just going along with it because your life is comfortable, because you get to wake up, go to a studio, talk about something meaningless. And if you're talking about electoral politics in the United States and you're not talking about the dynamic between capital and workers, you're meaningless. You're irrelevant. You just exist to funnel power to the powerful. If you're not doing any of that, then I don't know why you're getting up. I don't know why you're talking about this situation at all. The workers that are striking against Amazon should be the headline of the day every day. Who gives a shit about Joe Biden? Yeah, he's demented, obviously. They don't care. They don't care if he wins, right? Obviously. Stop talking about him. He's meaningless. The Amazon strikes matter way more, right? The strikes going on throughout the United States matter way more. Talking about, oh, well, Trump said something rude and Joe Biden's going to keep those kids in cages. Joe Biden's going to drop bombs on foreign power. Joe Biden's going to keep workers in a shitty situation, right? He might flick a crumb at them, right? Flick a crumb down the hall, right? Oh, hey, by the way, we're going to make sure that the coronavirus stuff is affordable, right? If you have no money, nothing's affordable. And they plan on keeping it that way, right? Why aren't you talking about the how poor people are rendered invisible? And you're helping by not talking about it, right? Why are you talking about Joe Biden and Donald Trump like it's a legitimate election where the results matter? Stop. Just stop. Stop commenting on this WWE event as if it's reality, and it isn't. It's total fakery. It's totally false. These aren't real people that they present to you. They are actors, at best, who sign checks and legislation. That's all they do. Meanwhile, you're rendered completely silent on the workings about Jamie Dimon. You're rendered completely silent about the strikes. You're rendered completely silent about mobilizing people to get them in the streets. Michael Brooks, I have no fucking idea what you're doing, buddy. You're not mobilizing anybody to do anything if you're not mobilizing people onto the streets. I'm so sick and tired of turning on this progressive stuff. And honestly, if it continues this way, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to assume that you're establishment people. I'm looking at The Hill, and I'm looking at Michael Brooks especially. If you don't get to the streets, if you don't talk to the workers, if you don't talk to the striking people, and if you don't encourage people to rally the people in their neighborhood and go to the streets, then you're worthless. And I'm going to stop paying attention to you, and I'm going to tell everybody to stop paying attention to you too. It's your only job now. It's the only reason you exist. It's the only reason you exist is to get people onto the streets and stop pretending like this electoral system actually exists. It's just theater. It's just theater. Oh, good luck, motherfuckers.